And also, guys, it looks like Mickey was actually stuck on the Krugs in the last game. I didn't actually know you could get stuck there, especially after the TP, but it looked like a bit unlucky. Fortunately, in patch 6.13, they will standardize the location of where your teleport actually ends up. So you're not just ported into a random point around your target,
right? Which
should at least make that a little bit more obvious as to when that's actually going to happen. So Mickey, it turns out, got a little bit unlucky.
Krugs got the revenge, finally. I've been waiting for this. Elise and Gragas banned out by the Afreeca Freecs so far. Vladimir and Shen banned by MVP.
So Afreeca sticking to the same bans that worked for them in game number 1, which they were victorious in. This time, they are not going to be giving up that Shen. MVP the one banning Shen in this series.
Yep.
And now they've got the Gnar for a possible counter pick on the red side. Shown that and shown how effective they can be with that particular champion.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, MVP is starting to develop a pretty scary deep champion pool. It's tough to ban these guys out. Looks like it will be the Trundle and the Nidalee as the last 2 bans for each side.
Yep, identical bans to game number 1.
Yep.
When these teams were on the same sides. So
it was the Aurelia ban in
oh, you're
1,
right. Yeah, except for the Shen. That was the
right
adaptation. Sorry, and the Hecarim was banned too by MVP.
Oh,
so
yeah,
first time that MVP is not banning the Hecarim.
And so that does leave it open for ikssu to take, but it's not really a first pick kind of thing.
You also don't pick it into Gnar. That's the thing, is a classic Hecarim counter pick, which makes you wonder why they were banning the Hecarim when ADD really wants to play a Frozen Mallet Gnar, because that has been a pretty traditional lane counter pick, because Hecarim just is never going to be able to attack you. Once you get that item, you can kite him basically forever, and you also cut a lot of his damage from his passive by slowing him down consistently.
They just wanted to make it exciting.
So first pick, Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
This one, LirA wants that pick, has had it now for the 3rd game in a row in this series, and ADD, you up to the task, buddy, on this Aurelia, or are we going to see a blind pick Gnar come through once more?
Well, they've avoided it so far. I'd love to see a first pick Blitzcrank, but I don't think we're ever going to see Blitzcrank get picked again until it gets changed.
They may take away the Ashe.
Yeah.
Afreeca have been putting a premium on that. They picked it in the first round on red side in the last game.
MVP's had some pretty interesting picks throughout the course of the season, the Amumu and all that. Be pretty surprised to see the Zac, but you never know with these guys.
Zac has shown up in other leagues, but I think you take the Gnar here and dissuade them from going for the Hecarim. Maybe they say, okay, well, we want that Aurelia matchup once again, now that it's available. But it wasn't, the Aurelia wasn't enough to actually stop the team fighting potency of this Gnar pick.
True. So 2 picks over to the Afreeca Freecs side. They can take the Karma and the Sivir, actually. Might not be a bad idea.
Afreeca did use the Karma effectively in game number 1.
Combining that with the Sivir is always a good thing.
Yeah, it is. And they could go for a Graves here, play mid Karma, and go Sivir with that for some nice burst.
True. When you've got a chance, though, to grab the Sivir Karma, you might as well do it. Yep. And they will. Powerful duo for the Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah. All right, well, they did run the Karma at the support position in game number 1, but no Vladimir means Mickey may be going back to that pick, and MVP. What is their solution going to be? Ian has been playing some LeBlanc to some pretty good success this season, but I think if you have that mid lane counter pick right now, you just go ahead and wait and see what they're going to be doing with the Karma before you commit to that. But
I'd agree.
Maybe they're going to run a weird jungler.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, right? So we'll see. But you wouldn't run something like an Amumu with an Azir, though, would you?
You can.
I
The
suppose you
engage
can.
is still there, and the Sand Soldiers can be repositioned to do a lot of damage on the
That is a.
Azir ultimate,
That is a.
or rather on the Amumu ultimate.
I mean, it's a huge wombo combo if you combine all of that with Gnar, Ashe, Alistar as well. But they are going to go with the Varus instead.
Well, a lot of engage and crowd control from MVP. Huge amounts of engage. Chain of Corruption. Basically, everybody has an engage tool on MVP's team composition right now. And so Gnar will have some really powerful follow-up with the Gnar ultimate after the rest of the CC abilities go down.
So Mickey keeps, or I feel like it's got to be Mickey, keeps threatening this Yasuo pick.
Well, he's done it before, Noah. He's done it before.
Yeah.
Ikssu, of course, the traditional Gnar counter pick, is the Yasuo pick in the top lane.
Yep.
You have to respect the fact that it can come through someday, the
Whoa,
progenitor of that particular counter matchup, but they are going to take the Hecarim into a counter matchup, and they take Hecarim and Lissandra, so huge amounts of engage from both teams. Super fast move speed from Afreeca, hard engage with Lissandra ultimate, and do it.
Lock in the Amumu. Make it happen. They took a game off the Rocks Tigers with this Amumu pick.
Well,
it's not just for trolling Cloud Templar anymore. It's for winning games if you're MVP, and they're going to lock it in.
Crowd likes that one. I like it too, Noah.
Me too, man.
So
I mean, they played it so well the first time.
And this was Beyond's trick in the Challenger Series too. He has this pocket of Amumu. You had to believe with the last pick jungler that they were at least considering this option. And when we saw Peanut play against it, because no one else does it, he didn't play as aggressively as you have to play into Amumu. But is Rek'Sai going to be the jungler to really punish on a Amumu pick?
Well, that's the
thing. Gotta
thing.
say, probably not.
I agree completely. I mean, that was really the issue last time, is that you'd expect Peanut to really punish this Amumu pick. He didn't. This Rek'Sai from LirA is going to probably even have a harder time doing that. So the Amumu pick might work again.
Yeah, and these are really tricky matchups, by the way, for Afreeca. They've taken Lissandra into Varus, so you're going to take a lot of poke damage and be denied in the early game. Also, with the cleanse from Ian, it does eliminate a lot of the kill pressure that the Rek'Sai-Lissandra combination is going to have. They pick the Hecarim into the Gnar, which is really just a terrible matchup after you get that first core item for the Hecarim. And, you know, to round it out here, they don't really have they have a lane in the bot lane, okay, that may be able to put some pressure down, have the poke advantage, especially against Alistar, whose healing was nerfed pretty substantially when they made those changes to his Triumphant Roar and to his ultimate. So they do have that matchup, which should be going well, but that's about it.
That's right. Well, game number 3 of Afreeca Freecs versus MVP. Let's see who takes it. All right, welcome to Summoner's Rift. Mountain Drake for the 3rd time in a row today. Afreeca Freecs versus MVP. Game number 3, and Beyond is bringing the Amumu back. It worked once already this season. We'll see if they can make it work again.
He's also using the best Amumu skin.
He is. Sad robot Amumu.
Which had the best bug of all time.
That's right. Nobody will ever forget the global lab. Whoa, flash pulverized onto SnowFlower. There's a flash as well. MVP going hard early on. And they get 3 summoners out of the Afreeca Freecs, both used by Max, but I suppose that's a bit of an edge.
It is, especially because they're going to delay the recall also. So SnowFlower going to be taking a little bit of time to get into lane. And they are going to lane swap right now, trying to move that Sivir and the Karma into the top side of the map. So we are going to see a lane swap in this game. And Beyond, there's an Amumu. He's a sad robot. By the way, the bug that we were referencing is that when Sad Robot Amumu came out, his laugh was global. So everybody in the game at all times, no matter where Amumu was, could hear his robot laugh. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
My favorite bug. To this day, my favorite bug. Or hidden feature. It was a hidden feature of the Sad Robot Amumu skin.
My favorite ones were always some of the ridiculously overly long blitzcrank and Amumu grabs. Some bugs on. Mickey getting very, very low. He's got his flash. He may need to use it here. Yep. So there it is. So Ian poking, taking a lot of damage from the caster minions in return, but getting that summoner out of Mickey, and Afreeca really kind of starting off on a...
Oh, he stole it!
Wow. Never mind. SnowFlower.
Comes in with the mantra Q.
No summoners, no problem.
Wow, beyond...
Oops, he's a sad mummy now.
He is a sad mummy now.
I mean, he'd be sadder if he missed out on the blue buff, but that hurts too.
Tough times for Beyond.
Yep.
And so lane swap going to continue. I mean, stealing the red buff actually probably is not going to be too impactful, because by the time Karma is actually in a lane with somebody. Now, if they were at the 2v2, that would be devastating. But
right. All right. Well, at least Beyond should be able to take his own blue buff. It's a big deal, since Amumu can be a bit of a mana hog early on.
Yeah, the blue buff actually much more meaningful in the early game to Amumu anyway, so it's not a complete train wreck. Ikssu here being a little bit sneaky.
Yeah, but there's the headbutt pulverize over the wall. Going to get slowed down a little bit.
That was clever.
A lot of damage, yeah.
So he did not go as typical in a lane swap to match into the top side. Instead, snuck around to get a little bit of experience. He does it level 2 first, and we'll see how this plays out. MVP may have to push all the way to tier 2 instead of just recalling, because of what Ikssu is doing, just being extremely annoying.
It's a cool Hecarim skin.
Yeah, Beyond's here for
Beyond.
Beyond's here to gank.
Yeah, it certainly is. And bandage toss does connect. They're going to go in. Nice headbutt pulverize again onto Ikssu. He has no flash. He's Hecarim. Flash from Beyond, though, and that's going to be first blood for the sad mummy.
And that's the risk you run, Della. You're playing on the weak side of the map. The jungler you have to expect is going to be in that quadrant of the jungle. Your quadrant of the jungle where the lane swap is pushing down the tower for the enemy team. So they come in, and we talked about the amount of engage this MVP composition has. Max has been an absolute boss so far with his pulverizes. Hits one right there that's very important. Bandage toss goes down, and the Amumu getting ahead, not what you want. And there is no flash onto Mickey, but he does have the E.
All right, managed to see his way out of there. I got to say, Max has really been doing work, too, on this Alistar so far this game. He's been hitting all the headbutt pulverizes, hitting that flash pulverize at the beginning, and he's going to be seen by this ward, but...
He was a close second for MVP of the last game.
Yep. All right, well, he's in big trouble now. Gets the ward, but he may need to flash it out. He doesn't have a flash. Headbutt pulverize onto SnowFlower. It's a lot of damage from Ian. Meanwhile, ADD comes in. There's a knockup from LirA, though. MVP might have bitten off a little bit more than they can chew. And yeah, they have to flash out.
Yeah, getting... Oops. Don't really want to... I mean, you're... level 2 teleport Gnar at 5 minutes with 0 items. It's not something you're terribly afraid of, so that's a pretty big misplay there from ADD. They weren't going to get a kill, and that's going to give Ikssu quite a bit of farm and get him ahead. Meanwhile, Sangyoon just sitting here. They're farming 2 lanes right now, Afreeca, while MVP is farming 0, or 1, I suppose, in mid.
Looks like they're trying to clear the wave so that Ian can go back and buy. But yeah, I mean, that hurts. ADD had the option to go into lane against this Hecarim and do really well, but now he's a little bit far behind it. They're going to have to send MaHa and Max up there.
Yeah, they just need to push it out and make sure that Ikssu isn't going to get some sort of crazy freeze going on and just remain unpunished. But that entire wave just melted into the turret, so ADD still sitting there 2 levels back.
Yeah, that's a bit rough. He's got another wave coming in now at least. That he can maybe catch up a bit in levels in XP. Levels in CS, rather. But we know how good Ikssu is on this Hecarim. If you can do something like ult the Amumu as the Amumu comes into ult, that can certainly turn the fights around. But meanwhile, LirA getting caught, though, in big trouble, trying to get away with the burrow, and he'll be able to.
Lots of damage.
Close call, yeah.
Lots of damage there. So Beyond just doing work, and this is going to be another unpunished Amumu. Yes, he's been a bit slower when it comes to clearing out the jungle, but made up for it with the first blood kill.
Yeah, definitely. And it's cool to see. Beyond put so much gank pressure on with this Amumu. It really, it does feel like a game of solo queue, but, or I should say, dynamic queue now. But it's still fun to see.
Yeah, it's It is fun, and I like the fact that you just have to keep this in mind when you play against MVP. And I love MVP's composition. Just really should be entertaining to watch. So much engage potential. Just incredible amounts of hard CC. Every single champion in this roster has a form of hard crowd control.
Right.
So dangerous, super dangerous to fight against MVP. This is like the Bronzodia comp right here.
It is. You know, one thing to keep in mind, though, is that Sangyoon does have a pretty big CS lead over MaHa at the moment, and he's got 2 levels on him, too. So they need to get this Ashe caught up.
Yeah, well, they're slowly working on it. We'll be pushing back towards her now, so she will have a chance to come probably within about 10 CS. And that's just the nature of these lane swaps, is that they create these long lanes where there are temporary CS imbalances.
Might be ganking time onto ADD. He does not have his flash right now, but you can sometimes just hop over the heads of whoever comes in to try to gank you.
Yeah, they may be waiting for ikssu to hit 6. He's close.
Yeah, they may be waiting for Sangyoon so far to catch up. Here we go. ADD in trouble now. I don't think he's going to make it out of this one. Maybe. No, I don't think so. Nope. Goodbye. Goodbye, Gnar. It's been fun.
Was it fun, Doa?
Kill? Well, it was fun for the Afreeca Freecs anyway.
So as a result, actually, Beyond has to sort of desperately do this blue buff. He's just going to have to take it.
Yep.
No chance. LirA wants to steal it away from the Varus. Blue, of course, important to that Varus. Mickey doing a good job of farming in this lane in spite of the really troublesome matchup versus the Varus.
Wow. Already. He was really far up with no vision. He is going to get wrecked.
Wow. Okay, well, that was actually a very unexpected play from Afreeca because MVP no doubt was thinking that they were going to do Dragon. They did not think that there was going to be a teleport play, so they are punished MVP for MaHa was going to push up and try and make a cross-map play onto the objective under the assumption that there would be some attempt with 4 people on the bottom side to go for the Drake, but instead what they're going to do is just try and get ikssu more ahead. So Afreeca is saying, okay, well, we know this matchup is bad for us but between Hecarim and Gnar, so we're going to try and get the Hecarim ahead so he doesn't have to be quite so punished by it. And they make that decision over taking the Mountain Drake. Interesting.
Well, they certainly are getting ikssu ahead. He's 2 levels up on ADD now.
Yeah, and as you say, it's been effective.
Yep. Sure enough. All right, maybe gank coming in here on the bottom lane. Teleport, bringing Mickey in. ADD backs off in time, though. Here comes the Ashe arrow. Oop, not hitting anyone, though. And that turret will go to the Afreeca Freecs.
Trying to use their double teleports to set up plays and get the pressure on early. And it is working out pretty well so far for the Afreeca Freecs.
All right, might be Dragon time. Nope, doesn't look like it. Afreeca Freecs felt the pressure coming in from MVP in the river.
Runic Echo's now done for Beyond. Definitely a useful item just to speed up his jungle clearing a little bit. And ADD trying to pick up what CS he can. At least he's got a longer lane to work with right now. The benefit of having his tower knocked down.
Oh, hooray. The tower's been knocked down.
It has. To lose a tower sometimes means at least you can farm in more relative safety because your enemy has to push further down the lane.
Yep.
Try and get a kill onto you. So
it's good to get kills. Beyond thinking about setting up for a gank onto Mickey there, but not going to work out.
Everybody in the top side right now for Afreeca.
Yeah, and MVP knows that they're going to go for this Mountain Drake, and they're probably going to be able to take it. Yeah, okay, the Afreeca Freecs trading for the Rift Herald, but I feel like it's good for MVP.
Yeah, this is not something that they should have traded for Afreeca. The wave is not in a position where MVP could normally do this Drake in the bottom side. They also didn't have a lot of vision, but because everyone was just hanging out in the top side jungle from Afreeca, they had a free line onto the Drake. Now it is going to give ikssu again another advantage with the Herald buff.
Okay, wow, ikssu going deep onto ADD. Turning it around though, there's a counter engage. ikssu on his own now in the 1v4. That's going to be a kill for MVP. And they're going to keep chasing. Nice ult from Beyond, catching SnowFlower and Sangyoon. That's going to force a flash from the both members of the bot lane. ADD very low, but he's going to be Mega Gnar pretty soon here. Goes in, engage from Max. ADD just waiting for that Mega Gnar. The slow, inevitable death of Karma. There's Gnar.
Yep.
Are they going to give it to him? ADD could use the kill. There's a Q. Meanwhile, MaHa, oh, well, there's a shock. MaHa gets caught, gets killed. Max trying to still set it up. There's the Q. This Karma's hard to kill, apparently. There we go. Ah, yeah, finally uses the ult to finish him off. That was a bit of a rage ult there. That was, he didn't need that, but he's like, all right, I'm mad now.
You gotta scoop that Karma. It's all right.
That's
The ult will be back up by the time he needs it once again. And
Yeah.
MaHa gets a little bit exposed in the mid lane while the rest of his team goes off to try and chase down SnowFlower down the lane.
Well, it's not good, too, because MaHa's 20 CS down now. He's a full BF sword down against Sangyoon. Let's watch that fight again. It was a bit interesting.
Yeah, ADD actually not going to die as a result of this. But look at Max once again. Look at the setup here. Punts him straight into the turret, uses the ignite, makes sure that they actually finish off that kill. Then beyond flash ultimates.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous to get that follow-up kill. SnowFlower on the chase right there. ADD nearly eats it by flashing close to that Karma. You have to really respect that Q damage at this stage of the game. But he's banking on the fact that he's going to be able to get that extra HP from the Gnar form. And
it was brave. Meanwhile,
I mean, MaHa was legitimately surprised right there. Mickey did flash ult him, so it's not like he was in a super dangerous position or anything like that.
I suppose. Just kind of one of those things. All right, blue buff. We'll see if they can give it over to Ian this time, but LirA's already there. This might be another fight as Max and MaHa come in. Ian loading up that Q, and he gets it.
Nice, piercing arrow.
Pretty big that he was able to take that. Really need it.
Yeah, it's important to note that in this particular game, there are going to be a lot of skirmishes, and there are going to be a lot of kills, and people are just going to be caught out because the engage from both teams is incredibly strong. So even in situations like that with MaHa, there's not much you can do against Flash Lissandra ultimate. You're just on an Ashe. You can't really get away from that, particularly if you don't have a flash available to you.
All right, you MaHa apologists.
Hey, I was not apologizing for game number 1.
Oh, all right, Ian. Chains of Corruption in response does not connect. ikssu really dedicated a lot to that. Ultimate, flash. He got both summoners out of Ian, though, I suppose.
And the TP, so definitely worthwhile for a Ghost and ultimate trade from the Hecarim. And that's the scary part. Playing the Varus and the Ashe is not easy into Hecarim Lissandra. Plus, when you combine that with 2 forms of speed boosts from Sivir and Karma, that is going to be pretty sticky onto Ian and MaHa here. So
yeah,
it really is who gets the engage first. Fortunately, the Amumu ult is actually very good for peeling. Doesn't necessarily have to use that offensively.
Sure. Mickey picks up his blue buff. Sangyoon continues to farm. Way ahead of MaHa. Bit of a lull in the action now. Didn't catch what the next dragon is going to be.
We'll find out together, Doa.
We will wait and see.
It's an exciting mystery. It's like a present on Christmas morning just waiting to be unwrapped.
I know, man. You know it's going to be good, but, well, I suppose it might not be, though. Is the Cloud Drake kind of like the equivalent to getting socks from your grandmother?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Or coal.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, socks at least are semi-useful. Coal,
hey,
in a modern home, Monty, is not that great. Oh, Bandage Toss misses from beyond. Looks like they'll keep their mid turret up for the moment anyway.
It is if you want electricity, Doa.
Yeah, but somebody else is theoretically making that for you. ADD jumped on by ikssu. Actually, ikssu, whoa, you're going to take a lot of damage in response. Here comes Max. ikssu going way too deep. Whoops. That's unfortunate for the Afreeca Freecs. Not sure what he really thought he was going to accomplish there.
Well, I thought he was going to not be, taken out by an Amumu. Unfortunately, that is not his fate today.
I mean, he took so much damage.
Or
ADD
the
probably
Gnar,
would have been
rather.
able to kill him. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, a good roam, though. Max has been setting up all the plays this game. You really have to commend him for his performance thus far. 100% kill contribution.
Yeah, he's been
4
doing
kills,
great.
but there's a deep TP.
Wow.
Whoa, what is this?
Okay. All right, well,
It's time to kill Ian.
Hecarim is lurking in the back, yeah. Operation Get Ian.
It's
Wait
going to be
for
successful.
It. Over the wall. Yep, that's pretty successful, I'd say. Well, And then sometimes that happens.
Wow,
They
and
take the mid lane turret.
right now, they should. MVP should not have stopped putting pressure on the top side. They really just should have pushed down the top lane turret if they had any opportunity to. They would have been worried about a collapse from 5 members through the river immediately afterwards, though. So they take it very safe, but I think they had a little bit of time there to work with the turret. Beyond has the duty of clearing out that bottom wave, picking up what CS he can.
Yep. Meanwhile, LirA takes the Wolves. And MVP is going to push on the mid lane a little bit. The dragon is up, and it is another mountain drake, I believe I saw. Yep, it is. And so if MVP picks up this one, it'll be their second. Certainly will be helpful. LirA not looking like he's going to try to steal this.
No, I don't think he's going to go into the hard CC death zone.
I don't think so.
Very easy to just get perma-stunned in that dragon pit until they kill you, and it will be a third mountain drake, actually.
Wow.
Coming up afterwards.
That's pretty big for MVP. I mean, if they get any time at all with these turrets or with the Baron later on, they're going to be able to catch back up in the objective department pretty fast.
Yes, they will. They are pretty far behind in terms of gold, though.
All right, ADD going to get ulted by Mickey. Meanwhile, Ikssu coming in. ADD still alive, though. They're going to turn it around. And there's a huge ultimate. Curse's head, Mummy, Ashe are coming through. Big scoop from Gnar. And a great fight for MVP so far. Although, Afreeca turning it around, getting the double kill for Sangyoon. Somehow, some way, that Sivir survived. And that's going to be a triple kill. Maybe a quadra. Yeah, quadra. Pentakill for Sangyoon. Man, talk about a turnaround.
Wow, and he barely lives alongside LirA, so they're going to be able to get this top tier 2 turret and expand this gold lead to about 6K.
Crazy.
That's a great pentakill there from Sangyoon.
I thought for sure that Afreeca was dead after that big ultimate from Beyond. He caught like everybody in that Curse of the Sad Mummy.
But MaHa wasn't there, and take a look at this pentakill once again.
So.
Mickey's going to start this fight. They try and get ADD. Remember, he only has a frozen mallet, so he's not the tankiest. But it is a 5v4 for the most part. Of course, this Ashe arrow going to come in and do a little bit of helping, but there's just not enough damage there. And Sangyoon, in that small area, is able to get a ton of ricochet and boomerang blade damage as just bouncing between people, flashes forward and just picks this one up. MaHa probably selected the wrong target at the start of that fight. Thought he could maybe take down LirA, but LirA just a little bit too tanky, and there it is, pentakill for Sangyoon.
Yeah. It's a good pentakill.
Was a good pentakill.
Yep. Good fight for the Afreeca Freecs, and like you mentioned, that's going to put them about 6,000 gold up. And MVP really on the back foot here now.
Yeah, but as you saw in that fight, MVP nearly won that fight in a 4v5 with a gold deficit. So you really have to respect their CC.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, he dodges the charge anyway. Ikssu in a little bit of trouble. Beyond comes in to try to turn things around.
It is dangerous to
dive
dive this composition that MVP has.
Yeah, even that Varus can get out, nearly kill you.
Really good chain of corruption after the tower aggro had been taken by the Hecarim after using his ultimate.
Yeah. I mean, Iksu's huge, obviously, on this Hecarim right now, but there's just so much CC and so much engage on both sides that it's kind of engage, counter-engage, counter-counter-engage, counter-counter-counter-engage.
But it's definitely fun comps to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Go head-to-head against each other. No shortage of action in this game, but
I like it.
Well,
I like it a lot.
This is what happens when you pick compositions like this. Both teams need to go in order to be successful with their compositions, and that means that we've got a lot of teams crashing into each other.
See, the way I feel, this is how the game is meant to be played.
It's a way to play the game, though. It'd be boring if it was this way all the time.
Would it?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, screw variations on strategies. Just all-in hard CC compositions every game.
Well, we can see variations on maybe champions that have different ways to engage, different cool abilities to throw at each other. I'm on board with this. And you'd just be bored with this.
I would be.
Yeah. Now you know how I feel most of the time. Afreeca Freecs going in on this Baron.
That's right. It's going to be...
I need my fight games once in a while, you know? Teleport coming in from MVP. And they're going to push Afreeca off for the moment.
Gnar is down, but the poke is Certainly
Oh,
real.
here we go. Onslaught of Shadows doesn't really connect with anybody. MaHa in a good position, actually. Beyond wrapping people up with that Curse of Sad Mummy in the back lines. MVP fighting for their life, though. There goes MaHa, and the Afreeca Freecs turning it around. Sangyoon did not really get stopped at all, and this is going to be another big team fight win for the Afreeca Freecs. It's Baron time.
Yeah, that's a result of their gold lead right there, because Beyond actually had a very good play in that fight to get into the back line, but it just wasn't enough in the end. Tried to stop up the back line, but there's just too much damage coming out of the Afreeca Freecs right now with their 7K gold lead. Now it's going to turn into a Baron. Afreeca doing well, just they're playing the map better right now than MVP is. They've had more people around.
ADD, he's Gnar. He could flash in on this one. Yep, going in. Uh-oh. Yeah, there's the big Gnar ultimate, but gets one. Gets, all right, well, they get the Baron in the end. So he killed SnowFlower, but that's about it. Don't know if that's really worth the trade.
It is. Death timers are still low enough that taking away one Baron buff
All right.
going to work out okay for you. ADD still working on getting some more consequential defensive items for these team fights.
Sure.
Looks like he will have his Randuin soon enough. Certainly necessary right now, considering how incredibly fed Sangyoon is.
Now that third Mountain Drake coming up in just 30 seconds.
As our observer is showing us right now, MaHa's items not the greatest. He took a little bit of a detour from the Essence Reaver and still hasn't picked up a Hurricane.
Yeah. Man, you gotta wonder, like, even if MVP gets this third Mountain Drake, are they ever going to get a chance to really use it?
Yeah, it's probably not, though. Probably not. With the Baron already down and no hope really of sieging turrets with this Baron buff up for Afreeca, it does make it challenging, and the gold lead just continues to roll.
Yes, it does. Up to about 11,000 now. And in 24 minutes, that is a difficult deficit to overcome.
I like what the Afreeca Freecs are doing. Fully half of their gold lead is actually just the difference between Sangyoon and MaHa right now, who finally gets the Hurricane that he needs to be able to clear the waves and stave off any more damage from the Baron. But there's the first Mountain Drake of the game for Afreeca.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to put that to good use.
No, they don't have much to put it to use for right now. Just a few turrets between them and victory.
They've got plenty of time to do that, though.
They have all the time in the League of Legends world.
Yep. Which is much less time than in the Jin Air world, but still a good amount of time. All right, Onslaught of Shadows in onto MaHa, gets absolutely run over. Big engage comes in, Beyond gets in the back lines, but again, everybody just so low immediately. 4-man Gnar ultimate, but again, where's the way for MVP to capitalize on this? They don't really have one at the moment, and the Afreeca Freecs will continue to bulldoze their way into the base.
Yeah, ikssu with the clutch opener to that fight. MaHa didn't have flash, he knew it, so able to get instantaneously into the back line. This is where Hecarim is so good. And ikssu, he struggled in the laning phase, but is able to turn it on in these team fights and make a big difference. It's kind of the opposite of last game, where ADD was the one who was struggling in a counter matchup in the laning phase, but then showed up big time when it came to actually coordinating and fighting in these team fights. And look at MaHa. I mean, there's the Q, E,
dead.
Just dead. And LirA's there too to help out. So is Sangyoon, and Beyond gets another good ultimate, but they can't quite chain it into the Gnar ultimate because of the ult that went down from Lissandra onto ADD. So the chain CC just wasn't there. Gave them enough time to get a little bit more damage down in between ultimates. And
I mean, ADD is playing well on this Gnar. I mean, he's 5-3-4. He's been getting great ults, but there's just no follow-up from the rest of his team, especially not when MaHa dies so early.
Well, MaHa got rocked in the laning phase, and that was true of game one, and it's true here also. He's just not able to stand up, but they picked the Ashe into this composition.
Yes, they did.
They went for an early Ashe, actually. They only knew that the Rek'Sai was up there, but you knew the Karma and the Sivir were still going to be up. And you picked.
Well, okay, arrow onto SnowFlower, takes some poke from the Varus Q. Beyond going in. Oh, they nearly killed SnowFlower. It was close. But if you can't even get that pick, things are a little bit rough for MVP. And they may pay for it with their inhibitor turret. Teleport, gonna bring Mickey into the bot lane. Meanwhile, ikssu on the side gets bounced out by Max for the moment. But that inhibitor under a lot of threat, and it looks like that one's going to go over to the Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, ADD used his ultimate there, I think a little bit unnecessarily.
Yeah. And it looks like the Afreeca Freecs are getting ready to end this one. They're slowly but surely picking apart the base of MVP.
They are a little bit low, but ikssu has his TP to come back in if they want to finish the game right now. They could also just wait for the next Baron. There isn't really a rush for them.
That's right.
With their 16,000 gold lead, it's not...
I think they want to end it, though. ikssu teleporting back. That seems like something you only do if you want to try to finish things right here.
I agree with you, Doa. They haven't relented in the least.
Yep. MVP pushed back, and the Afreeca Freecs have won the last few team fights so convincingly, you can't blame them for going for it. Here we go, Onslaught of Shadows again, right onto Ian this time. The knockup from LirA comes in on that Rek'Sai. Beyond again, every time gets into the back with that Curse of the Sad Mummy, but there is no follow-up from MVP. MaHa trying to kite back along with the support, but ikssu just all over them. There's the ace, and that is going to be the end of the game. So, crazy series, really entertaining, action-packed, everybody diving into the fountain. All right.
That's a suicidal centaur.
I guess so, man. Suicidal Centaur was also the name of my thrash metal band in high school. What a coincidence. And what a win for the Afreeca Freecs. They'll take out the Nexus and they'll take down MVP. And pretty solid end to the first round for them overall. GG.
Yeah, both teams are going to end this first round 4-5.
Yep.
Both of them looking to improve in the second half if they actually want to become a playoff team. MVP has their 3-match winning streak cut short. Well, you're going to see Afreeca bounce back from that loss to the Rocks Tigers. But interesting game. The not banning Hecarim. MVP thought they had the answer. Turns out wasn't so great. And ultimately, I think a lot of MaHa's overextensions were quite costly in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's another MVP series where we talk about MaHa getting caught out a bunch. I mean, it's kind of par for the course at this point, isn't it?
Well, it was also extra abused because Afreeca had a great composition for catching out MaHa, making it even harder for him to stay alive. If you make that positional error, well, there's a Lissandra, Sivir, and a Karma just waiting for you.
I mean, it's a good way to play against MVP, right? I mean, if you know MaHa's probably going to be out of place a little bit, you pick a comp that can exploit that extra hard.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
And in the end, Sivir doing a lot of damage, but it didn't make a bit of difference because it was ikssu on that Hecarim, running people over.
Yeah, the real story, though, for Afreeca is just the fact that